Captain Ryan Murphy walked into the grand chamber of the Galactic Council. His boots made no sound on the crystal floor. The room was massive, with seats rising in circles all the way to the ceiling. Each seat held a different alien species. Some had tentacles, others had 4 eyes, and a few looked like giant insects. Ryan took his place at the center platform. His heart beat fast. Behind him stood Ambassador Lisa Bennett. She had worked here for 20 years. Her face looked tired and sad. "Members of the council," Ryan began. His voice echoed through the chamber. "Today I bring you a final message from Earth." The chamber fell quiet. Every creature leaned forward to listen. 3 months ago, Earth had asked for one simple thing: no mind reading during diplomatic meetings. It seemed fair. Humans wanted their thoughts to stay private during negotiations. But today, the Council had voted no. Only 3 species supported Earth. 47 voted against them. Ryan thought back to other times when the Council ignored Earth. Last year, they refused to help when asteroids threatened human colonies. The year before, they rejected Earth's proposal for fair trade routes. And now this. "Earth withdraws from the Galactic Council," Ryan said clearly. "We will no longer participate in your affairs." Gasps filled the chamber. The Krillian ambassador stood up. His blue skin turned purple with shock. "You cannot be serious." The Vothari representative, a tall creature with golden eyes, stood next. "This is unprecedented. No species has ever left the council." Ambassador Bennett stepped forward. Her hands shook slightly. "We have tried for 50 years. 50 years of asking for basic respect. 50 years of being told our ways don't matter. But the council needs Earth," shouted the Tarvac delegate. "You solve our problems, you mediate our disputes." Bennett smiled sadly. "Then perhaps you should have thought of that before. When the Zoresh and Benthrin were fighting over ore shipments last month. Did you listen to our peace solution? No. You only cared when Earth threatened to stop supplying medical technology. This is about mind-reading protection?" asked the Nexari Chancellor. His metallic body clinked as he moved. "So petty." "It's not petty," Ryan interrupted. "We asked for privacy. We asked for fairness. We asked for equality. You refused all of it. We're done begging for basic rights." The chamber erupted in angry voices. Some species shouted at each other. Others demanded that Earth reconsider. The Grell ambassador, who had supported Earth, sat with his head down. Lisa Bennett raised her voice above the noise. "During our time here, we helped prevent 12 major wars. We shared our technology freely. We offered solutions to problems you couldn't solve yourselves. And how did you repay us? By deciding that our thoughts are fair game for anyone who can read them. Perhaps if you were stronger you could protect your minds," sneered the Krillian. "Weak species need extra protection?" Ryan's face turned red with anger. He stepped closer, to the edge of the platform. "Weak? We colonized 17 systems without your help. We developed jump drive technology in 10 years. What took you 50? And we managed all of that without invading anyone's privacy." The argument continued for hours. Some species tried to bargain. The Moltari offered to change the vote. The Scath proposed a compromise. But Ryan and Lisa stood firm. Finally, the council leader called for order. The Yotani, an ancient species that looked like living stone, spoke in a deep voice. "If Earth truly wishes to leave, we cannot stop them. But the galaxy will suffer for this choice." "The galaxy will adapt," Lisa replied. "You will find new mediators, new problem solvers. Maybe you'll even learn to respect each other without human intervention." As Ryan and Lisa turned to leave, chaos had already begun. 3 different species started arguing about territorial boundaries. The peace accords between the Vec Empire and Choriani Federation suddenly looked shaky. Even the trade representatives began disputing shipping lanes. Walking down the long corridor to exit the council building, Ryan asked, "Was that the right choice?" Lisa looked at him. "We gave them 50 years. They had every chance to treat us as equals. Instead, they voted to read our minds during negotiations. What other private thoughts would they invade next?" Outside, their ship waited. The UES horizon gleamed in the alien sunlight. Crew members saluted as Ryan and Lisa boarded. Back on Earth, President Marcus Johnson waited for their message. He had prepared 2 speeches, one for if the Council agreed to their demands, one for this outcome. 3 hours after Ryan and Lisa left the Council chamber, Johnson addressed the people of Earth. Today we choose independence. We choose dignity. We choose our own path among the stars. Across Earth's colonies, there were mixed reactions. Some celebrated, others worried. Many wondered what would happen next. On the space station circling Luna, Dr. Helen Carter watched news coverage of human colonies. She had once advised Council members on human culture. Now she wondered if Earth had made the right choice. In deep space, Admiral Christopher Walsh adjusted his fleet's patrol routes. Earth would need protection if any species decided to punish them for leaving. His ships were ready, but the immediate impact was in the Council chamber. Without humans to mediate, old arguments resurfaces. Species that had been friendly for decades suddenly looked at each other with suspicion. Trade agreements that humans had helped negotiate started falling apart. The Krillian and Vothari, who often disagreed, began positioning their fleets more aggressively. The Tarvak and Skath started arguing over mining rights they had peacefully shared for years. Chancellor Vexthol of the Nixari Consortium smiled secretly. Without humans balancing power, his species could expand their influence. He had allies who thought the same way. That night, after all Earth's diplomats had left Council, space emergency meetings began. Species realized they needed mediators, they needed problem solvers, they needed humans. But Earth was gone. The final transmission from their embassy simply stated, "We are no longer accepting Council communications. Address all future messages to individual human colonies by their own choice." The galaxy was about to learn what it meant to lose its problem solvers. 3 months passed since Earth walked away from the Galactic Council. Dr. Helen Carter sat in her new office on Gamma Station, watching news feeds from across the galaxy. She wasn't an Earth diplomat anymore. Now she advised independent colonies that wanted to stay neutral. "Another fight today," her assistant Jake Williams said, entering with coffee. He pointed at the main screen. "The Vec Empire and Choriani Federation are sending warships to the Nether asteroid belt." Helen frowned. 6 months ago, I helped them sign a peace treaty for those mining rights. "Well, it's falling apart now," Jake said. "Without you and the other human mediators, they're back to threatening each other." The screen showed alien warships positioning themselves across the asteroid field. The Vec ships looked like giant hammers. The Choriani vessels resembled spiky spheres. Both sides had weapons ready. "Get me a secure line to both governments," Helen ordered. "Maybe I can help them remember their agreement." 2 hours later, Helen ended the calls feeling exhausted. Neither side would listen. The Vec claimed the Choriani broke the treaty first. The Choriani said the Vec were stealing resources. Without Council backing, her words meant nothing now. On Earth, President Marcus Johnson faced angry citizens in emergency meetings. News channels showed protests on both sides. One group held signs saying, "Rejoin the Council." Another group waved flags reading, "Earth First." "Mr. President," Senator Peter Morgan stood up in the emergency session. "We're 3 months into this. Experiment in isolation. How's it working?" Marcus hesitated. The reports on his desk painted a complex picture. Human colonies were actually doing well. Trade with sympathetic species continued. But the rest of the galaxy was struggling. "Our colonies are stable," he finally answered. "But we're seeing increased tensions among former Council members." "That's their problem," Morgan replied. "We voted for independence, remember?" But Marcus knew better. Earth had satellites and spies throughout the galaxy. They were getting reports of rising conflicts everywhere. Without human mediators, old grudges were returning. In the frontier zone, Captain Karen Torres of the UES Liberty encountered a distress call. A Grell cargo ship was being chased by Tarvak pirates. The Grell had supported Earth in the final vote. "Captain," her first officer said, If we help them, we might get pulled into council politics again. Karen thought for a moment. We're not council members anymore, but we're still human. We help those in need. The Liberty swooped in, driving off the pirates. The Grell captain sent grateful messages. Thank you, humans. Even when you leave us, you still protect us. That incident spread quickly. Some species whispered that humans might return if asked properly. Others grew angry, saying humans should mind their own business. The council held emergency meetings, every day now. Admiral Christopher Walsh, who had friends among several species, received secret messages. Many council members were panicking. 3 separate trade routes collapsed this week, reported the Zentani ambassador to the council. Human shipping expertise managed our navigation algorithms. Without them, our ships are getting lost, the Krillian delegate sneered. Perhaps we relied too much on inferior technology. Perhaps you relied too much on pride, snapped the Grell ambassador. The humans solved problems in hours that we debated for years. Arguments like this filled every council session. Without human mediators, even small disputes grew into major conflicts. Species that had worked together for decades now competed aggressively. Dr. Carter's data streams showed the pattern clearly. In the past 3 months, 12 new conflicts had started. 15 old treaties were being challenged. And the council hadn't passed a single new agreement without human help. We used to prevent these problems before they started, Jake observed, checking the latest reports. Now they're learning what it means to lose their mediators, Helen replied. Sadly, one evening Robert Collins appeared at Helen's office. The former human diplomat looked exhausted. Can we talk privately? In her secure room, Robert revealed shocking news. Some council members want to invite humans back. They're offering concessions, privacy guarantees, special voting rights. Anything Earth wants. And the others? Helen asked. They want to teach us a lesson, show that the galaxy doesn't need humans. Robert's face darkened. The Nexari Consortium is among them. Chancellor Vexthul is building alliances with aggressive species. Helen felt worried. She knew Vexthul. The Chancellor had always resented human influence. Now he saw an opportunity to grab power. Back on Earth, President Johnson reviewed similar reports. His security team warned of increased surveillance around Earth's defensive systems. Some species were testing humanity's resolve. Should we prepare for possible attacks? Asked Defense Secretary Michelle Adams during a private meeting. Johnson considered carefully. Defensive preparations only. We left peacefully. We won't give them reasons to call us aggressors. But across the galaxy, the preparations were already beginning. Species like the Nexari saw opportunity in the power vacuum. The Virak War, a conflict humans had helped end 20 years ago, threatened to restart. Old enemies awakened old hatred. On Frontier Station, Commander Daniel Brooks noticed unusual movement near human colonies. Sir, his scanner officer reported, 3 Tarvac cruisers just entered the Helios system. That's very close to our mining colony. Are they threatening the colony? Not directly, but they're scanning extensively. Testing our defenses, maybe? Daniel ordered increased patrols. Other human commanders received similar reports. Species were testing humanity's absence from council protection. The economic impact grew severe. Human quantum computing had transformed galaxy trade routing. Human agricultural techniques fed billions. Human medical advances saved countless lives. All of this technology remained, but without human experts to maintain and improve it, systems started failing. The Skath suffered first. Their food imports decreased by 40% because human routing systems weren't updated. The Yotani, an ancient species, lost ships in unexplored regions without human nav data. We never realized how much we depended on their innovation, the Skath economic minister admitted in a council session. We thought our technology was superior. They were never superior, the Krillian shot back. We just let them participate. We can manage without them. But everyone in the chamber knew better. The past 3 months proved humans had become essential to galactic civilization. Their absence created chaos in diplomacy, economy, and security. As the 4th month approached, Helen Carter compiled her reports. The conclusion was clear. The galaxy needed humans, far more than humans needed the Council. The question was, what would break first? Council pride or galactic stability? Outside her window, stars twinkled peacefully. But Helen knew those peaceful stars hid growing conflicts. The Vec and Coriani standoff continued. The Nexari built secret alliances, and somewhere out there, species plotted against human interests. Earth had chosen independence. Now the galaxy would discover what that choice meant for everyone. 4 months after Earth's withdrawal, the galaxy's economy began shaking badly. Trade ships carrying essential supplies got lost in empty space. The quantum networks that guided commerce across star systems started failing. Engineer Karen Torres watched from her research station on Mars. Her team had built these quantum systems 5 years ago. Now the alien operators struggled to keep them running. They're trying to access the advanced settings, her junior engineer told her. But without understanding our programming language, they're making things worse. Karen sighed. The Zentani Economic Committee asked for our help yesterday. They offered triple our usual consulting fees. What did you tell them? I told them to ask the council first. We don't work with council members anymore. The economic crisis grew deeper each day. Space lanes that once buzzed with activity now had fewer ships. Without human navigation expertise, routes that took 3 days now needed 3 weeks. Vital supplies reached planets late or not at all. Admiral Christopher Walsh received reports of growing desperation. The Vec Empire offered rare minerals for human ship routing codes. The Tarvac pledged military alliances in exchange for trade network access. Some species even offered to support Earth's return to the Council. Admiral, his intelligence officer reported, "We're detecting unusual fleet movements. The Moltari assembled their entire battle fleet 2 days ago. The Krillian Navy seems to be conducting joint exercises with the Nexari Consortium." Christopher felt worried. Military cooperation had always been messy in the Council. Humans had prevented dangerous alliances by mediating between competing species. Now those alliances formed without safeguards. On Titan, a secret meeting occurred in an abandoned mining facility. Former human diplomat Robert Collins sat across from 4 council members who had supported Earth. They included the Grell ambassador, the Yotani elder, the Scath trade minister, and a Zentani general. "The situation grows worse daily," the Grell ambassador said, his crystalline arms clicking nervously. "Chancellor Vexthal now leads a faction of 32 species. They call themselves the New Order Coalition." "And what does this coalition want?" Robert asked. "They want to prove the Council doesn't need humans," the Zentani general answered. "But more worryingly, they're building a military force. 9 species have pledged ships to joint operations." Robert felt alarm. Military operations. Against whom? That's unclear. But Vexthal keeps mentioning teaching lessons to those who destabilize Council unity. The Yotani elder, oldest among them, spoke slowly. "We believe Earth is their target. They want to show that humans need Council protection more than the Council needs humans." This confirmed Earth's intelligence reports. President Marcus Johnson had already noticed increased surveillance of Earth's defense network. Several species had tested their outer sensors. Some had tried to analyze human military communications. In the council chamber, debates became fights. The Krillian and Vathari species, once diplomatic rivals, now united against those who wanted humans to return. They blamed economic problems on other species being too dependent. "Let them learn to be self-sufficient," the Krillian ambassador shouted. "We survived before humans joined us." "Survived in constant warfare and poverty," the Grell ambassador shot back. "Our children died from diseases humans helped cure. Our ships couldn't travel beyond 3 systems. Our food production was a quarter of current levels." The truth was becoming obvious. In 50 years, human innovations had transformed galactic civilization. Communication networks, medical treatments, agricultural techniques, defense systems, all bore human improvements. Now these systems broke down without human knowledge. Karen Torres received an emergency call from the Scath system. Their orbital farms were failing. Without human agricultural AI, crop yields dropped 70%. Millions faced starvation. We beg for your help, the Scath minister pleaded through the communication. Our people suffer. Our children grow weak. Karen consulted her team. We can't let them starve, but we have orders not to engage with council members. Her assistant made a suggestion. What if we offer help through private channels, not government to government, just humans helping individuals? Karen thought about it. She made a decision that many humans would soon follow. They would help those in need regardless of politics. Similar scenes happened everywhere. Human doctors offered medical knowledge to Zentani hospitals. Human scientists shared research with struggling Multari universities. Human engineers provided emergency fixes for critical infrastructure. The council split into 3 distinct groups. The New Order coalition led by Vexthul pushed for complete separation from Earth. Another group desperately wanted humans to return. A third group remained undecided, watching the galaxy fall apart. On Earth, public opinion also shifted. Military analysts showed President Johnson the growing threat. 3 species friendly to Earth had detected New Order war preparations. Surveillance suggested plans to pressure human colonies. They're testing our resolve, Defense Secretary Michelle Adams explained. Small harassments at first, but if we don't respond, they may try larger attacks. Senator Peter Morgan, once strongly against council involvement, now worried about Earth's security. Can our independent Navy defend against a coalition of 32 species? If we stand alone, no, the Defense Secretary admitted. But several species have offered private defense pacts outside council authority. The Grell, Yotani, and Zentani among them. President Johnson faced the hardest decision since withdrawal. Earth needed allies, but returning to the council felt like surrender. They needed a different path. The breakthrough came from an unexpected source. 3 weeks after the secret Titan meeting, the Vec Empire ambassador sent a private message to Earth. After months of reflection, the Vec realized they couldn't solve their mining dispute with the Coriani Federation. They didn't want war, but pride prevented them from asking humans to mediate through proper channels. The Vec proposed a solution: unofficial mediation. Earth diplomats would help as private consultants, not council representatives. No official records would exist. Both sides could save face. Earth accepted. Dr. Helen Carter traveled secretly to the disputed asteroid field. Within 2 days, she crafted a solution both sides could accept. The Vec and Coriani signed private agreements avoiding war. Word spread quickly. Other species facing conflicts approached Earth with similar requests. They offered payments in resources, technology, or diplomatic favors. A new system emerged: humans as independent mediators, working outside council structures. This enraged Chancellor Vexthul. At an emergency council session, he declared, "Humans continue interfering in galactic affairs. They refuse to accept their exile." Perhaps, the Grell ambassador responded quietly, they refuse to watch innocents suffer while we debate politics. Admiral Walsh noticed something else. The species receiving human help began forming their own network. An unofficial alliance of council members who maintained relationships with Earth. The Grell offered intelligence. The Zentani provided military support. The Scath shared trade routes, avoiding council monitoring. The galaxy was reshaping itself. The old council structure cracked down the middle. On one side, the New Order coalition prepared for conflict. On the other, a growing group sought cooperation with Earth outside official channels. In his Berlin office, President Johnson reviewed the situation with his advisors. 6 months had passed since withdrawal. The results surprised everyone. "We're actually more influential now than as council members," his aide pointed out. "Species seek our help privately. They offer better terms, and we're not bound by council rules anymore." A new communication arrived from Admiral Walsh. The Nexari Navy was mobilizing 5 battle groups. Their destination, the Outer Rim near Earth's newest colonies. War was coming. The question wasn't if, but when and how humanity would respond. 5 months after Earth's withdrawal, Chancellor Vexthul's Nexari fleet approached the edge of human space. 5 massive battle groups blinked into existence just outside the Helios system, where Earth's newest mining colony operated. Captain Daniel Brooks commanded the defense station there. "Pirates don't travel in battle groups," he told his crew. "These are warships coming to make a point." The Nexari ships held position just outside threatening range. They didn't approach, but they didn't leave either. Surveillance drones scanned every inch of the colony's defenses. On Earth, Security Director Michelle Adams coordinated multiple threats. 3 different species are pressuring our colonies now. The Tarvak are stopping our trade ships. The Krillians are inspecting our defense installations, and now the Nexari at Helios. President Marcus Johnson studied the military reports. The New Order coalition had grown to 35 species. Their message was clear: rejoin the Council or face isolation and harassment. "They're not attacking directly," Senator Peter Morgan observed. "That would unite other species against them. Instead, they're squeezing us slowly." Admiral Christopher Walsh prepared Earth's response. The human navy wasn't large enough to fight the coalition, but it didn't need to be. Walsh developed something better: Shadow Protocol. The first test came when Tarvak ships blocked the UES Constellation from delivering medical supplies to Frontier Station. Tarvak Commander, the human captain, broadcast, "These medicines will save thousands of lives at the station. People will die if delayed." "Council law states all shipments must be inspected," the Tarvak War Master replied. "You are not Council members. You follow our rules in Council space." The human ship waited 3 hours. Then Admiral Walsh executed Phase 1 of Shadow Protocol. Ships belonging to Earth's secret allies appeared from hyperspace: Grell, Zentani, and Yotani vessels. "Tarvak Commander," the Grell captain announced, "we request immediate passage for medical supplies. Under Council Emergency Relief Act 47, you must allow humanitarian shipments." Caught between human ships and Council rules, the Tarvak had no choice. They accepted the inspection and let the supplies through. The pattern repeated at other blockades. Rather than fighting, Earth used allies to navigate Council laws. Chancellor Vexthul grew angry. Private messages to his allies spoke of human manipulation and poisoning Council loyalties. But his coalition couldn't attack ships from Council member species without breaking their own laws. Meanwhile, the Council itself fractured further. Emergency sessions became shouting matches. The economic crisis worsened each week. Without human expertise managing the quantum trade network, ships vanished in hyperspace. 3 cargo vessels disappeared in one day, causing panic. "Listen to us," the Scath representative pleaded. "Our orbital farms produce 1/10 of our food needs. Our children grow thin. Humans taught us their farming techniques. Only they can fix our systems." The Krillian delegate stood angrily. "You sound like addicts begging for their drug. The galaxy existed before humans. We will survive without them." Behind closed doors, something unexpected happened. Small groups of species met quietly with human diplomats. They didn't want to leave the Council, but they couldn't function without human knowledge. Dr. Helen Carter negotiated these shadow agreements. "We'll share our agricultural AI with you," she told the Scath delegation. "But you must vote against any military action toward Earth, and you'll share information with us about coalition movements." These deals multiplied. 10 species signed secret agreements with Earth. They received technical support in exchange for intelligence and diplomatic protection. A shadow network formed, existing alongside the official council. The military tensions peaked during the Battle of Kronos Gate. 3 human mining ships entered the gate zone, a natural hyperspace jump point. 4 Nexari cruisers intercepted them. "By order of the New Order Coalition, your ships are under arrest." "For what crime?" Captain Daniel Brooks demanded. He commanded the mining convoy. "Operating without Council authorization in controlled space." Before human ships could respond, 8 vessels appeared. Grell battlecruisers dropped from hyperspace surrounding the Nexari fleet. "By order of the Grell Defense Force," their admiral announced, "these human ships operate under our protection. Any hostile action will be met with force." Both fleets pointed weapons at each other. Nexari ships trembled with contained energy. Grell shields blazed with defensive systems. For 10 tense minutes, the galaxy held its breath. Chancellor Vexthul finally backed down. His ships withdrew, but not before sending a final message. This incident proves human corruption spreads through willing council members. Action must be taken. On Earth, these events triggered massive protests. Citizens demanded action. Some wanted to return to the council for protection. Others called for increased military spending. A few suggested preemptive strikes against the coalition. President Johnson addressed the nation. We face intimidation from those who fear human independence, but we will not be frightened into submission. We will defend ourselves and our allies. Private. Intelligence revealed worse threats. The coalition planned coordinated actions against human colonies. Mining operations would be seized for council purposes. Trade ships would be detained for inspection. Defense stations would face compliance reviews. Security Director Adams developed countermeasures. We can't win through military force alone, but we have advantages. Our intelligence network through shadow agreements gives us early warning. Our defensive technology remains ahead of coalition species. And most importantly, we know their weaknesses. The weakness was unity. Behind coalition bravado, member species argued constantly. The Tarvak wanted aggressive military action. The Krillians preferred economic pressure. The Multari, worried about damaging critical infrastructure they couldn't maintain. Admiral Walsh exploited these divisions. Shadow Protocol Phase 2 began. Targeted counter-pressure. Human agents leaked evidence of coalition plans to undecided council species. They showed how coalition actions would harm galactic commerce. They highlighted how New Order might turn on other species after dealing with Earth. The Vathari Empire, usually aligned with the Krillians, quietly withdrew fleet support from the coalition. The Skath officially remained neutral, but shared military intelligence with their human allies. Even Tarvak officers began questioning orders that harmed their own trade routes. By the 6th month, the galaxy split into 3 clear groups. The Isaxia coalition, growing desperate and frustrated, pro-human species working through shadow agreements, and neutral species caught in the middle, watching their civilization crumble without human support. Robert Collins reported from his undercover position. The Council cannot pass a single resolution anymore. Every vote splits along factional lines. Even basic maintenance agreements fail because humans aren't here to mediate. In the Nexari capital, Chancellor Vexthul faced mounting pressure. His expected easy victory over humanity had become a complicated political nightmare. Coalition members demanded results. Public opinion turned against policies that worsened economic problems. On a secret mission, Karen Torres met with Nexari engineers. Even in an enemy species, practical people understood reality. Our quantum systems are failing, they admitted. Pride prevents us from asking for help, but our people suffer. She offered a deal, technical fixes in exchange for moderating coalition policies, not through official channels but through engineers protecting their people. The divide deepened daily. Some species moved closer to Earth despite coalition threats. Others hardened their rejection of human influence. The Council became a battlefield where each species fought for survival in a new galactic order. As month 6 ended, intelligence suggested the coalition planned one decisive action, something that would force Earth to choose between surrender and war. Admiral Walsh prepared defensive measures, while President Johnson considered Earth's ultimate option, permanently withdrawing from Council space entirely. The galaxy watched as 2 philosophies collided: control versus cooperation, traditional hierarchy against independent alliance building. The next move would decide the future of galactic civilization. 6 months after Earth's departure, the crisis reached its breaking point. The Virak War, dormant for 20 years thanks to human mediation, sparked back to life. The Virak Empire launched surprise attacks on former enemy worlds. Without human peacekeepers, violence spread rapidly. President Marcus Johnson sat in the war room receiving hourly reports. 3 systems burning already, Admiral Christopher Walsh reported. Civilian casualties climbing. The VRAC remember every old grudge. And the council? Johnson asked. Paralyzed. They've called 14 emergency sessions, no agreement on action. The New Order Coalition blocks any military response that doesn't include Earth's surrender. Dr. Helen Carter, now Earth's chief diplomatic strategist, entered with urgent news. Sir, I've received 23 requests for emergency evacuation, including 6 species not allied with us. The VIRAC attacks created a massive refugee crisis. Without human mediation, ethnic conflicts resurged across multiple star systems. Borders drawn with human help now dissolved into chaos. Centuries of peace crumbled in weeks. Chancellor Vexthal saw his opportunity. At an emergency council session, he proposed the Galactic Unity Act. Its terms were simple. All species must accept unified command structure. Those refusing would lose council. Protection. The target was obvious. Vote yes, and we coordinate to stop the VIRAC, Vexthal declared. Vote no, and prove your loyalty to chaos. Ambassador Claire Wilson, who replaced Lisa Bennett, watched from observer status. She had no voting rights, yet every species glanced her way. The Grell ambassador stood to speak. This act is forced unity. True unity comes from respect, not threats. The Krillian delegate shouted him down, calling him a human puppet. As the council descended into riots, Admiral Walsh detected new danger. Intelligence showed 9 Nexari battle groups surrounding Earth's major colonies. Not threatening yet, but positioned for rapid strike. They're waiting for the VIRAC war to spread, General Nathan King analyzed. Create enough chaos that everyone demands Earth's return on coalition terms. Johnson made a decision. Initiate SHIELD Protocol. SHIELD Protocol was humanity's contingency plan. Every human ship capable of hyperspace travel received simultaneous orders. Military vessels, cargo haulers, exploration craft, mining ships, all suddenly jumped to predetermined coordinates. The result shocked the galaxy. Hundreds of human ships materialized simultaneously around war zones, not to fight, but to evacuate refugees. The UES Defiance, commanded by Captain Daniel Brooks, led the effort. At VIRAC-occupied Tertus Prime, the ship faced enemy warships holding thousands of civilians hostage. VIRAC commander, Brooks broadcast, "We have capacity for 10,000 refugees. Allow evacuation, and we leave peacefully. Leave now, or be destroyed," came the response. 3 VIRAC destroyers aimed weapons at the human ship. Brooks smiled. "I should mention, 27 of your ships are currently being helped by human-maintained systems. Systems that might malfunction if you fire on us." Engineering teams on VIRAC vessels suddenly found their AI interfaces flickering warnings. Human technical support terminated, all systems reverting to manual. The VIRAC commander hesitated. Without human technical updates, his battle fleet's advanced systems might fail. While he considered, 3 more human ships arrived with Grell and Zentani escorts. "We're starting evacuation," Brooks announced. "Your civilians first, then ours." The operation succeeded. Across the war zone, similar scenes occurred. Human ships extracted refugees while quietly reminding aggressive species of their technical dependencies. No shots fired, but the message was clear. Earth could help or hurt. Back at the council, chaos reigned. The Galactic Unity Act vote failed spectacularly. Only 7 species supported it, including the Nexari. Without consensus, the council couldn't act as one body. The Scoth representative made a shocking announcement. "The Scoth Confederation withdraws from the Galactic Council. We will seek alternative arrangements for our security and prosperity." Within hours, 6 more species announced similar decisions. They didn't join Earth, but they left the council that failed them. The ancient institution, meant to unite the galaxy, was falling apart. Chancellor Vexthal tried one last move. Using emergency powers, he ordered Nexari fleet to seize the main trade hub at Nexus Station. Without this junction, galactic commerce would collapse completely. Admiral Walsh anticipated this. SHIELD Protocol Phase 3 activated. The largest human fleet in history assembled at Nexus Station. Not to fight, but to form a protective ring alongside 30 other species who valued stability over politics. Chancellor, Walsh broadcast, "Your ships may try to take this station, but they'll have to fire through civilian vessels from 60 different species. Make your choice." The standoff lasted 2 days. Behind scenes, even Nexari citizens questioned the wisdom of starting a wider war. When 3 Nexari generals refused orders to fire on civilians, Vexthol's power crumbled. The aftermath transformed the galaxy. The old Galactic Council sat mostly empty. Only 17 of the original 63 species remained as active members. They spent their time arguing about procedure, while real problems went unsolved. In its place, Earth established the Independent Worlds Alliance. 27 species joined voluntarily, including former council members who valued practical cooperation over forced unity. The alliance had simple rules: mutual defense, free trade, shared knowledge, and most importantly, voluntary membership. Ambassador Claire Wilson became the alliance's first Secretary General. Her office in a station orbiting Mars buzzed with activity. Species that once looked down on humans now came as equals, asking for guidance. "We're not trying to replace the council," she told new member representatives. "We're offering an alternative. Work with us if you choose, trade with us if you wish, but no one is forced." The humanitarian response to the Viric War became legendary. Human ships saved over 3 million refugees from 30 different species. They provided medical care, shelter, and new homes. Most importantly, they proved Earth had withdrawn from politics, not from compassion. Dr. Helen Carter coordinated the Refugee Resettlement Program. "We build schools that teach multiple languages," she explained to a Zentani delegation. "We create neighborhoods where different species can interact safely. War made them refugees. Peace will make them neighbors. Not all threats ended. Chancellor Vexthol lost power, but aggressive elements remained. The Krillian Empire kept pushing against human colonies. The Tarvac continued harassment of human ships, but now Earth had allies who stood with them. General Nathan King reviewed Earth's strategic position after 6 months of SHIELD protocol. "We've gone from isolated outcasts to powerful independent nation, not through conquest but through service." The economic transformation was equally dramatic. Human colonies prospered without council restrictions. The Independent Worlds Alliance became the galaxy's strongest trade bloc. Species competing for alliance membership offered increasingly valuable partnerships. On the anniversary of Earth's withdrawal, President Johnson addressed humanity. "1 year ago, we walked away from a system that didn't respect us. Today, we stand as partners with dozens of species who value what we offer, not subjects but equals." The old council struggled onward with 17 members, meeting monthly to debate problems they couldn't solve. The Krillian ambassador still ranted about human corruption. The Nexari delegation proposed unity under their vision. But without practical solutions, their words meant nothing. In the Outer Rim, the Viric War eventually ended through alliance mediation. Human diplomats, now representing an alliance of equals, brokered peace terms both sides accepted. They established neutral zones and shared defense pacts. No forcing, just facilitating. At Nexus Station, ships from alliance members and council loyalists used the same facilities peacefully. Trade continued because people needed each other. The ideological divide didn't prevent commerce or cultural exchange. Karen Torres led a project training young beings from various species. "Whether your government likes Earth or not," she taught them, "knowledge belongs to those who seek it." Her students included children from both Alliance and Council worlds. The galaxy adapted to its new structure. 2 systems coexisted: the Moi, traditional council for those wanting centralized authority, and the Alliance for those preferring voluntary cooperation. Competition between them drove innovation in both. The final legacy of Earth's withdrawal became clear: the galaxy would never again take human contributions for granted. Whether as council members or independent partners, humanity had proven its value. Not through threats or demands, but by walking away and building something better. At the edge of human space, New colonies expanded freely. Ships displayed both Earth flags and Alliance emblems. They ventured further than ever before, knowing they had allies who chose to stand with them. The stars remained the same, but the relationships between their children had changed forever. And in the endless dark of space, cooperation shone brighter than any empire ever had.